Maru versus Dark. This is one of those matchups where you can quite literally wake me up at any hour of the day and I'll try and cast it. Although I guess if you wake me up at 3 in the morning, my voice is probably gonna be a little bit hoarse and I'll probably be stumbling over my words even more so than I usually already do. But seriously, this should be an absolute banger. It's time for a best of 5 series, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on Blackburn. So spawning right here in the bottom left, playing with the blue Terran SCVs, we have Maru, and his opponent in the bottom right with the red Zerg drones. Likewise also from South Korea, we are looking at Dark's main base. Now, I've been talking about it a lot over the last couple of weeks or so. I am a huge fan of Dark's Zerg versus Terran. It's the style that I've been playing quite a bit myself, and my win-loss ratio has gotten quite a bit better, assuming my execution is decent. He's been a big fan of that Roach Ravager into Hydra Lurker, into Viper Infestor, into Ling Bane eventually. That sort of playstyle. I've covered this extensively over the last couple of weeks on the YouTube channel. I'll try and guide you through it a little bit as well if he decides to play that style once again in this series as well. But I'm a huge fan of the way that Dark approaches this matchup currently. That being said, his opponent, okay, going for double barracks inside of the main base. Blackburn has these little jump-up pads right over here, so there's obviously also one in the back of the Zerg's main. He's probably going to bring a couple of Reapers towards the other side of the map. Nothing all too aggressive, but still a nice start, obviously. This is something that Maru likes to mix in all of the time. Speaking of which, though, Maru is looking absolutely incredible right now. If he plays the way that he's playing right now, he's definitely my favorite going into the World Championships in about a month and a half or so. Honestly, over the last half year or so, he's been on point for like a decade, right? But over the last half year or so, I don't know what the man has been putting in his morning cereal, but he's looking incredible. His Terran versus Terran, it's literally at above 90% win rate at the professional level, which is insane. But his Terran versus Zerg is impeccable. His Terran versus Protoss is really good as well. He overtook Serral for the #1 position on Aligulek as well with a significant amount of points. Maru right now is looking really, really good. Obviously, Serral, definitely also one of the favorites going into IEM Katowice. But the thing is, Serral's Zerg versus Protoss is amazing. Serral's Zerg versus Terran is impeccable. But his Zerg versus Zerg is definitely his weakness. Whereas, I really don't see Maru... Oh, God. Maru. Alright, Maru, I don't really see him losing against anyone at this hour of the day, man. Like, he's just, well, I guess at this hour of the day. Depends on where you live. But seriously, like, assuming the man is awake, he can probably still beat me in his sleep. Assuming the man is awake, he is ridiculously good. And I'm hoping he's, gonna be able to bring it home as well with a World Championships title. It's one of those titles he's actually never won. So Maru historically has done very well inside of Korea. Definitely the most successful Korean tournament player out there, but... yeah, outside of South Korea, he's never really found as much success. Obviously, IEM Katowice, the way it seems right now, it is going to be taking place over in Poland. So, yeah, things like jet lag and, you know, being forced to, like, face your opponents outside of the comfort of your own home is definitely also something to keep in mind. So maybe it's going to be a little bit different. Either way... let us find out what ended up going down between these two. So we've got a little bit of shenanigans over here from Maru, forcing his opponent into that 2-base play. Not something that Dark probably minds all too much, but he does have a ton of Zerglings. I guess he plans on just going straight across the map. There's no third hatchery on the back of this, which is usually something we've already seen come up quite a few times already at this point. Yeah, I actually really like this pool right here from Maru. Just go back into the main base, lift the supply depots, and while the Zerglings are going to be a little bit annoying, there's nothing to kill for them. The command center obviously here can fly once the orbital command is done morphing in. And now all of a sudden you made all of those Zerglings. Did they really pay for themselves? I don't think so. Obviously it's not like they're completely wasted either. It seems like they're gonna be able to get rid of the Reapers here eventually. Maru is still microing his butt off. But yeah, 3 Reapers I guess for 7 Zerglings is not quite ideal. But obviously Dark did be, or he did be... he was, there you go, that's the correct verb. He was forced to delay his third hatch. I wouldn't have minded seeing him taking the Golden Expo, but I guess he did see the Heli in production as well, so he's probably a little bit concerned of those units shooting flames from the backside right here of the Golden Mineral, so this is a little bit safer. What did we have as a follow-up here? Just a single Evo chamber for now. No Lair, no Roach Warren, no nothing, so I guess Dark is... not going to be playing Roaches at the very least in this game, for now. I mean, he could. Going for the +1 Carapace as well. Normally we see either a Lair or a Roach Warren or a Baneling Nest at this point. Actually, we would have already seen that about a minute ago. Dark just holding down the drone button for the time being. I guess queens and drones are pretty good. There's the Baneling Nest. Okay. So he has been a huge fan of playing that Roach Ravager into Lingbane, Roach Ravager into Hydra Lurker, into Spellcasters, into Lingbane, eventually against Ghost. He has been a big fan of playing that style, but obviously, in a best of 5 series, you have to mix it up. You can't really do the same thing over and over and over again. So I don't mind it. Maru going in with an aggressive scan. Probably wants to get that Creep Tumor in the back really badly, but still got like 4 or 5 Creep Tumors over here in total, which is pretty good. Third command center, already done. With the way that Maru's base is laid out right now, though, it's very wide open, right? He definitely wants to complete the wall off here eventually, yeah. I think that's not a bad idea. You never know what the Zerg player is capable of. It's very difficult for the Terran player to get any sort of vision at this point. Either way, 2 Medivacs with a seemingly random amount of Marines are heading on over towards the main base. Dark, though, is spreading a Creep Tumor around the main base as well, which I like quite a bit. It's going to be difficult for the Terran player to really get any sort of damage done. Already, an Overlord has spotted these units as well, so yeah, the Zerglings, the Queens, they're going to be running over in this direction. And yeah, not really a whole lot of damage is done. Creep spread, actually, despite that scan from earlier, is looking very healthy. Golden Base already being acquired as well by the Zerg player, and despite the early game aggression here, and despite the fact that Dark didn't have a third base very quickly at all, he seems to be very content with where he's currently at. My main concern right now for the Zerg is the fact that Baneling speed is going to be very late. So the lair is going to finish up very soon, but then it's still quite a bit of time until the Baneling speed upgrade finishes up. He's even prioritizing +2 carapace. Alright, he really needs to get Baneling speed started, but he needs 150 gas to do so. It's very difficult to actually deal any damage to Terran armies, especially when they are controlled by Maru. When the fights take place on creep and, you know, your Terran opponent has Stimpack, right? Usually those upgrades need to be a little bit in line, and this is not one of those armies you're going to be able to clean up, right? I've got a feeling that the gold base is... I mean, it's going to take 1 siege tank forever. Yeah, okay. I think this makes a little bit more sense. I don't really see how you're going to break through this if you're the Zerg player here. Without Bane speed, yeah, it's just not going to happen. The Zerglings, though, in the meantime, are going towards the other side of the map. I like that decision-making quite a bit here from Dark, splitting off the links. Some of them going after the supply depot, but the other ones are going after the SCVs there instead. And honestly, losing a... Oh, I was going to say, like, losing a base for a mineral line worth of units is obviously a good idea. Only 4 SCVs here. Eventually, the hatchery at the Golden Base will be picked off as well. Maru, don't get greedy. I don't think you want to get greedy. Well, I guess he's got enough Medivacs here to lift up everything, so it's okay. Maybe he can force a council on this base over here that's just starting up. Yeah, he's got 4 Medivacs here. I thought he only had 2. Totally fine. Zerglings over here staring at the impaled Ultra. A little bit morbid. Anyways. Alright, so what are we doing right now? I feel like Dark's... Look at this. Baneling speed only just now starting, really. I feel like Dark is playing extremely defensively, but when you're playing defensively like this, you really need a very solid economy and usually some quick tech as well. And Dark doesn't have that strong of an eco, but also not that, you know, strong of a tech. I mean, he's got good upgrades, so that helps. But if your main strategy is relying on a good Baneling detonation, good luck. Slow Banelings trying to get into the mineral line as well. It's not going to happen against someone of the caliber here of Maru. It's just not. Maru heavily outplaying his opponent so far here in game number 1. I'm liking this position for him quite a bit more. He might still be able to hit a timing attack right now, with Baneling speed still not done. I mean, he assumes at this point that Baneling speed is done already as well. It should have been. There's no way this is an attack he's going for where he thinks, okay, well, my opponent probably isn't going to be finishing it just yet. It should have already been done. Anyways, I think it will be done here before any actual engagement will take place, but Maru is still getting rid of a couple of creep tumors at the very least. Alright. For what it's worth, though, Dark does have a healthy amount of workers, and now finally they're going to be able to find a good few mineral patches as well to mine from. Once again, Terran army coming in here from the back. This time around, it's 3 siege tanks rather than 1. Same concept, though. Try and just, yeah, elevator play around the site. A couple of Marines over here also stimmed forward and got rid of a few of the creep tumors over there. I've got a feeling that the Golden Base will be denied for a second time. Yep. Nice work right here by Maru. Not really missing a beat. Now, this is a map where it's quite difficult for Terran to take a 4th base, it seems. So, yeah, he's gonna go for the golden base. For CC in general, I don't know what the exact timing is supposed to be, but it feels a little bit late to me. +2/+2 though is finishing up, and it's not a triple CC all-in, which is something that we do see from time to time. Maru moving forward. Zerg still maxed out though. So despite the fact that I think Maru is playing a really good game, this is still one very good Baneling detonation away from being an absolute disaster. If you've ever seen me play Terran, you've probably seen me lose a lot of units to a couple of Banelings. It's very easily done. It's kind of funny though, if you watch the top level Terran players play, you're like, okay, well, Marines, you know, they counter Banelings, right? Anyways, here we go. This is where the Zerg decides to collapse on top of his army. This is also the point where the Terran player is just about to reinforce all of it. Queen's now joining in the fray as well. A lot of Banelings still in the back. Good target firing are there with the siege tanks. Maru just still stutter stepping to the best of his abilities. And what seemed like a beautiful setup right there by Dark hit right about 5 seconds too late. If those Terran reinforcements would have shown up a little bit later, I think it would have been... Oh my god, that was a lot of creep tumors as well. I think if those Terran reinforcements would have showed up just a couple of seconds later, yeah, that fight would have looked completely different. In the end, though... 212 Zerglings and 24 Banelings have gone down in this game. Lurker then comes up. Obviously, this is one of those things that Maru likes to do. He creates that tempo lead for himself, and Lurkers can really slow that down. Once Lurkers are out in the field, it's very difficult for Terran to continue pushing in the way that Maru is doing, but... feels to me like Maru is already smelling blood in the water. Okay, moves like that, though, aren't particularly great. Hatchery number 3. Yep. The golden base is not gonna mind. Not anytime soon. At the same time, there is a small hit squad over here trying to attack a newly acquired base as well from the Zerg player, but Maru on top of that one as well. My Maru casts really are quickly becoming me fanboying over Maru. It's impressive though that Dark is actually still in this game. I feel like he's been getting outplayed left, right, and center, but he is getting Lurkers out, and once those are out, the game actually can look completely different. Couple of Liberators, okay. Wouldn't be surprised to see a few Vipers added into the mix soon as well. Love this little move once again, though. Maru always keeps like a really large chunk of his army off creep, and he's only really baiting the units of the opponent forward with a small hit squad. It's one of the classic Maru moves. Definitely something that's, you know, something you can incorporate into your own Terran versus Zerg games as well, though it's good advice most of the time, but especially against Zerg, you want to try and fight off creep all the time. Look, he's once again setting up in the center of the map. And this is like, hey, come and attack me. I'm totally, you know, weak. Dark, though, he has played against Maru probably hundreds of times at this point. So he knows that it's probably not something he needs to do. You know what? He is going into +3. He is going into the Lurker upgrades. These Lings and Banes are going to pack a punch. Golden base, number 4, 5? I don't know. I lost track. Yeah, will once again be denied. Soon, though, the Lurkers are going to be fully upgraded. And as you might be aware, I think, yeah, the Lurker upgrades are a little bit silly in the game. First off, they have an upgrade right here called Seismic Spines. The upgrade gives them a bunch of additional range. And then they have got Adaptive Talents that allows them to, like, reposition themselves very quickly. It's the burrow and unburrow speed improvement. Okay, well, here we go. Dark going in for a very large assault. Definitely killing one of the command centers over here. And this is a Ling Bane squad that can pack a punch. This is Adrenal Glands done in 10 seconds as well. So these Zerglings are just about to get like a 40% attack speed buff, which is absolutely huge, especially when +3 finishes. Bunch of SCVs are going down right now. And despite the fact that Maru's plan was to try and kill his opponent, yeah, that is an SCV that has seen some stuff. It's holding up 5 minerals here as a true sulfur, okay? Oh god, a lot of siege tanks in the middle of the map as well, completely forgotten. Yeah, so despite the fact that Maru was planning on killing his Zerg opponent, Dark managed to stay alive. And even though the creep spread isn't looking that good, his economy really hasn't been healthy either, he's got very good upgrades, and right now it seems like he's finally taking control of his side of the map. Very impressive play right here from Dark, holding on for that long. It's very easy to just crumble under the pressure and engage one too many times off creep. Okay, this is where the ghosts get added into the mix as well. Terran actually only on a couple of command centers right now. Especially for Maru's sake. He usually has like 12 command centers at this point. This is where Maru builds up the Iron Bank. There's even a tactical nuke on the production tab. Okay. He's building up those additional orbital commands though. Essentially just for dropping mules and just for dropping scans wherever he can. It's very nice to have. Just very expensive as well. He's just invested a couple thousand resources. Where's the tactical nuke gonna go? I hope it'll be used, right? We see tactical nukes all the time and then, you know, they never actually fire it. It's only 100 minerals, 100 gas, so at this point it's like getting an upgrade, right? You have quite a few resources to spare. Yeah, but the ghosts are going to be absolutely critical though. So Maru actually giving up some of the units here as well, opening up some supply, replaced them with higher tier units. One of the things that I absolutely love that Maru has been doing, once again over like the last couple of months, is start off... Ooh, this is actually a pretty stellar kill. Going for the spawning pool. One of those structures that takes a surprisingly long time at this point in the game. But one thing that I love about Maru's play, and I've raved about this in previous casts, but one thing he's been doing in Terran vs. Zerg is he opens up with Marine Marauder Medevac, right? With some siege tank, maybe some mine support. Then he goes into ghosts. And once he has like a dozen ghosts or so, he slowly starts transitioning away from Marine Marauder. And sometimes we see him ending up with like... Ghost, Thor's, Siege Tank, Hellbat. So he like starts up with a bio army, then he transitions into Ghost, and then eventually, once the Iron Bank has been built, once he's got that that gold standard, I guess, of orbital commands, then we see him making that transition as well towards full-on mech. And I like it. Yeah, here's the Liberators coming up. Look, he's not producing any Marines anymore. At least for now. He might be forced to switch back in a little bit, but I like it a lot. One of the problems with going straight into mech is that you don't have a lot of mobility and you can't really build up your economy that well. Okay, well, you probably want to pick up though. Okay. So what exactly is Dark going for? Usually, Dark transitions from here, okay, I was going to say into Vipers. Parasitic Bombs. Pew! Parasitic Bomb deals 120 damage. Medevacs have 150 life. So that's 2 dead Medevacs, and with that, a bunch of bio units. But what is he going to replace it with? Okay, he's still adding on some Marauders. Also a few more Siege Tanks, though. When the Terran banger hits, right? This is one of the Terran songs from StarCraft 2. Ooh! There it is! Tactical nuke being deployed. Flying towards the other side of the map. I don't think that's where you want to burrow your lurkers, my man. Don't think that's the greatest spot. Yeah. Obviously, we see a nice little big icon on the mini-map. A nice little big icon. Anyways, you get what I'm getting at. Dark doesn't see that. All Dark sees is just a red dot. Assuming he can find it. One bit of advice. Alt plus F on the keyboard if you are a Zerg player. You see Tactical Nuke coming up and you're playing with the red colors. Anyways, here we go. This is apparently the moment where Dark decides to once again collapse on top of the Terran army. Goes kiting back towards the safety, towards that anchor, the planetary fortress. And Dark does decide to back off, reinforcing with a ton more links. Yeah, so I wouldn't mind seeing a couple more Vipers, maybe a few Infestors in the mix as well. Tactical Nuke coming up, number 2. Anyways, I know from personal experience that if you get stuck on red and you're going up against someone who's deploying tactical nukes, it's very hard to find the red dot. Oh yeah, very brave ghost. Very brave ghost. It's like, yep, there's no overseers. I'll move right on over in. And this is one of the locations that the Zerg player is not likely to check, although he may have already picked up on a little shimmer. Oh, that's actually kind of beautiful. He's nuking the outerward base, but from the natural expo. This is not a location that's very easy to spot whatsoever. Okay. Yeah, so notice how Dark, what I'm trying to get at, notice how Dark is playing with red in this game. If you're playing with red in your own game of StarCraft 2 as well, my god, man, look at this guy. Alt plus F on the keyboard to change your colors in-game. This guy. Oh, okay, he's eventually gonna be picked off, but that was the Tomb Raider himself. Okay, so you may be wondering what in the world is Dark's strategy here. Blackburn has 2 contested bases at the 12 o'clock and the 6 o'clock. These are shared expansions, and Dark is trying to mine the both of them. If he can mine out 1, he's gonna be able to, yeah, just get way more income. If he can mine 2, obviously he's denying a base from his opponent as well, and that's huge. Double Spire coming up, Pathogen Glance coming up as well from Dark. I just want to remind you that this is a game number 1 in a best of 5. There's the, look, there's the factories coming up. We even have a fusion core happening right now. Probably just for Liberator ranged, but I want to believe it's for battlecruisers, even though it's not. Battlecruisers are extremely good though, if you can get there. That's the main problem with battlecruisers. Very expensive. Big Zerg army as well, top left hand corner. Tactical nuke number 3 coming right up. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, this is really the pinnacle of StarCraft 2 in my opinion. Serral versus Maru might be even more interesting. But, come on. These guys have a lot of history. They've been competing against each other for literally a decade. They are pushing each other to get better as well, right? Like, that's one of the things to keep in mind. Since the skill level is continuously going up, you have to stay flexible, you have to keep learning. And these guys have been learning for over a decade. Like, StarCraft 2 is almost 12 years old. And they have got like a library almost, right, of knowledge for StarCraft 2. Now, all of a sudden, though, we see 50 SCVs going down over the course of a minute or so. 66 workers here killed by Dark. Maru with his back up against the wall. 28 SCVs. Well, now he's got 32 because he's got a lot of command center to be building out of. But he doesn't have a lot of money anymore. Dark still with 6,000 resources in the bank. That being said, Maru did grab the base at the 6 o'clock. Now, there's no way he wins this, right? He did grab the base at the 6 o'clock. Dark, well, he's mining out the base at 12. He's been mining that one for a little while already. Notice how Maru is sprinkling in only a couple of SCVs at a time, though. Looks to me like he wants to go to like 150 army supply, which is not a bad idea. Anyways, Zerg is going to go after some more SCVs. Another planetary fortress looks like it will end up going down. 16 SCVs once again end up dying here. 12 o'clock base killed by 4 Marauders. They have their Stimpaks handed to them by the Marines once upon a time. Now they still use them. Probably in the barracks locker room. I don't know where they're getting their Stimpaks from. I don't know, dude. Maru's actually completely broke. Dark, though, did just go for a very, very expensive set of engagements. That is the get out of my game fight. You can see it reflected right here, especially in the minerals lost. Okay, here we go once again. Dark going in for another move. This is not that good of a fight, though. Yeah, I don't really like that all too much. Maru once again kiting backwards, moving off the creep. 12 o'clock base will be denied once again, it seems. Instead, though, he's moving on over towards the bottom side of the map. Lurkers burrowing in that position. A scan over here will review a couple of those units. Dark still sitting at 69 drones, so I think that's pretty nice. Looks like there was no cancel actually on that base, but Planetary obviously also can't fly, so Maru losing a base for a base. Couple of siege tanks. Yeah, just one of them. Actually getting a few lurkers there in return, so maybe not the end of the world. Obviously, there's a lot of orbital commands, right? So despite the fact that Maru has lost a lot of his SCVs, he's slowly building them back up, and he's replaced a lot of that lost economy by just dropping a bunch of mules. The only downside with mules is that they mine so fast and they bring back so many minerals that you also mine out your expansions incredibly quickly. So Maru is gonna have to look for new resources soon enough. Okay, some abductions right there towards the low ground. Dark getting rid of his opponent's units at the same time, though. Snipes are landing on a few of the lurkers as well as the hydras, it seems. Dark, you need to spend your money. He's got 28 larvae. Okay. Just go back home and spend your money. It's a bit awkward. You should have burrowed right next to the siege tank. Siege tanks have a minimum range. They can't fire if something is right next to them. Okay. Whoa, one of the siege tanks apparently got stuck behind the back Obviously, at this point, NG Bay is not as useful anymore. I guess you still need him to make a turret or two. Yeah, maybe morph in a planetary. Can't believe Maru's still in this game. Even though I've been hyping him up for a long time. I feel like just about 5 minutes ago, I saw Dark sitting with like 10,000 resources in the bank, and Maru just spent all of his money and he wasn't even maxed out. Am I... Okay, maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but isn't that what happened? I mean, don't get me wrong, Maru had a lot of command centers, and mules are pretty good. Finally, that siege tank. He had a grudge with that siege tank. It ended up going down. 12 o'clock base, or 6 o'clock base rather, being reacquired. 12 o'clock probably will be taken by the Terran player soon enough. A lot of lurkers over here though, getting a lot of damage done. Nice moves here from Dark, although he needs to be very careful. Losing a couple of the Vipers as well, it seems. Ghosts still available, still sniping whatever they can. Backing off towards the safety of whatever they can find. Always in the back. Always very powerful. Liberators over here as well. Okay. One of them will be abducted. Ghosts over here, going in with some additional snipes too. Alright. Orbital should be able to land now since the creep has dissipated. Once again, these snipes are critical, man. Dark actually just lost so much, and Dark decides to GG. Hold up. I'm gonna just back up towards right over here. So this is a few seconds before Dark taps out. Was that a preemptive GG? Dark has spent his entire bank. He's got no more mineral patches to mine on his side of the map. He's extremely reliant on the 6 o'clock base. And he knows that Terran is just about to take the 12 o'clock. Maru still has a good amount of minerals over here. He's got some minerals left over at the top left-hand corner as well. I think he's right. Yeah, I do think that this is now actually a pretty significant Maru advantage. And since the ghosts are bringing in so much efficiency, Maru managed to squeeze out a victory. So sick. Alrighty. If that is what the rest of this series is gonna be like, I'll be casting for another 2 hours. But here we go. Game number 2. We are on Berlingrad. That was a bit of a bagger. My tea's gone cold though. My tea's gone cold, I'm wondering why I booted up this game at all. Anyways, I won't be singing for you. That'll be a 4th YouTube channel. By the way, I did that thing yesterday, right, that YouTubers do that I personally absolutely hate, where I asked you guys to hit the subscribe button because apparently a lot of people aren't subscribed. I looked at my YouTube analytics this morning, and we got like plus 700 subs in one day. Guys, don't make me become like the others, okay? Apparently reminding everyone, subscribe! Do I just start every video off by saying, subscribe? We got an S, we got a U, we got a B, we got a... is that what I'm gonna do? Am I gonna wear one of those stupid t-shirts that says subscribe to my channel and then put a camera on myself? I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to play that game. I just want to be casting StarCraft, okay? No, but seriously, thank you guys. That's pretty cool. I might be bringing it up a little bit more often, okay? I might have to, alright? I might have to. Anyways, Maru going for the double barracks approach once again. He's like, oh, it kind of worked out previously. This map not as good for Reaper shenanigans, I don't think. I mean, there is a nice little jump up pad over here in the back of the main base. It's of course the map with the dogs, by the way. We are playing the TLMC 15 edition of this map. No! There's no dogs! I hate this version. Yeah, this is the tournament version they've been running. So there's a couple of small adjustments that they've made. Ooh, I kind of dig this. One of the SCVs going to the front, mining out the 5 minerals over there, shortening the path ever so slightly. I feel like a scouting worker just to like finish the job and do the same thing over here would be a nice idea, but I'm sure Maru tested this. Very quick Roach Warren here from Dark. Okay, so Dark is skipping Zerking speed? Okay, he's not skipping Zerking speed, he just started it up. But he did start up a Roach Warren here at like, what? Pre 2 minutes almost? No, about the 2 minute mark. So that's ridiculously quick. Normal time for it is about 3:30, 4 minutes. This is a super quick one. Reaper number 2 showing up as well. This should work out very well, right? For the Zerg? He's only committed to 3 Reapers, so he's already going into Marines once again. I love what Terran players have been doing as far as that goes recently. It seems like there's a lot of these random builds where just, like, make it hard for the opponent to know what's happening. Oh, I like this too. Yeah, okay, so that's one of the reasons why I think he played it on this map. Maru providing high ground vision here so the Overlord can't hide. I like it a lot. The only problem, though, is that he hasn't seen the main base, and he hasn't seen the Roach Warren. I think he needs to dive a little bit deeper. It's been double gas mining here for a little while already. There's a lot of dead giveaways that this is going to be a Zerg all-in. But at this point, Maru is completely in the dark. Roaches are already out. 2 Ravagers are morphing in. Reapers are actually going home. They're going home right now because he knows the timing at which Link Speed finishes up. So Maru is going to sit behind his wall and cross his fingers and probably, I don't know, sip some of his tea as well. Whatever they drink over in South Korea, I don't know. Soju? No, probably not drinking soju while playing games. Now all of a sudden, that little pathway that's wide open, yeah. Helping out the Zerg player. Normally, what you also run into here as a Zerg is that you need to assault the main base, so you need the Overlord there for high ground vision. But at this point, he doesn't need it because all of the Terran production is right over here. I think that despite the fact that there's a lot of very clever play here from Maru, I don't really see how he's going to hold this. Like, Terran units are going to pop out of those structures over here at the front. There's 1 Marine being built at a time. Bunker here is never going to finish. Yeah, see? Like, that's the problem. That Hellion, it popped right out of the... Ooh, that's one way to get high ground vision, I guess. Ravager there, or Roach right there, morphing into a cocoon. There's no Banshee coming up. There's no Liberators. I guess a Liberator wouldn't do much either. Maybe you can complete the wall off at the very least? Zerg doesn't really care. Nah, at this point, Dark is smelling blood in the water. He's going across the map. He's like a piranha right now. There's no dogs, there's no piranhas, but there is Dark. And he's a dangerous man. Very good smell, apparently. Very good nose. That's probably a better way of putting it. Anyways, there is triple CC, so Maru does have a dream. He's like, those yellow mining machines served me well in the previous game. Let me drop them right in the middle of a Zerg infestation inside of my main mineral line. There's just more and more Zerglings coming across. Dark actually did miss a Queen Inject, it seems, because he's got quite a few resources here in total. Yeah. Imagine if he wouldn't have missed the Queen Inject. If Maru can hold on, that would be insane. It shouldn't happen. It really shouldn't. Maru probably a little confused right now as well. He's like, what? What's going on? Yeah, turns out Dark just made a mistake. He's coming in with 9 more Roaches, though. Yeah, okay. A little bit sloppy, maybe. Not a perfect bit of aggression, but it worked out for the Zerg. Map number 3 is Glittering Ashes. This music is always very, very wild. The leader of the orchestra is going absolutely crazy, but what he doesn't realize is that, you know, we just have 2 guys making workers. Very unfamiliar with the game, apparently. Bit of a... It's a bit cringe, really. We should have some nice, calming music at this point, okay? Anyways. I'll take some Terran 3. Terran 3 from the original game. That would be nice. How many barracks are we gonna make, Maru? 1? 1? No, dude. Pull one of those SCVs. Make another one. I think he's only gonna make 1, guys. It is Glittering Ashes. This is a map that's absolutely ginormous. Meaning that it takes those units a while to get across. So he's probably mostly just gonna treat it as a scout. Speaking of scouting. I think that this is Dark doing the thing that we saw Sero and Raynor doing for some time. I haven't really seen this much over the last few months. Interestingly enough, this has also had an effect on the ladder. I was actually talking about this on stream a few days ago. But about a year ago, I used to see a lot of proxy barracks from Terran. And these days, it's become very unpopular at the pro level because for a while, both Raynor and Cero, and I think a couple of other professional Zergs as well, they were basically just drone scouting their side of the map, looking for proxy barracks. They were doing this for like pretty much every single ZVT they were playing for several months. And then they stopped doing it because Terrans had their proxies found. And ever since then, Terrans haven't really gone for a whole lot of proxy barracks anymore. It had some like trickle-down strategies. Is that a thing? Trickle-down strategies towards the ladder? Yeah, that's definitely a thing. I haven't really seen it a whole lot on the ladder, even though I've personally never really done it. And I do feel like at the pro level, we can definitely suspect some proxy Rexes once again, because Zerg players have for the most part stopped doing it. But anyways, Maru not going for any proxies so far in this series. Just going for the good old conventional 1-1-1 it seems. Curious to see if he adds on a third command center before going for... There's a second gas, okay. I was going to say, if he goes for a third command center before building the starport. 6 Zerglings once again here from Dark. Another stylistic choice. Rogue and Dark usually go for 6, whereas Raynor and Cero usually go for 4. Don't know why. I think they think that 4 is, 6 is excessive, and I guess in Korea they think that 6 is just barely enough. I don't know. Either way, it's totally okay. You can do one of the two. There's the starport. And he'll probably go for the third command center now at like 420 or so. Okay. Very particular about the exact positioning of that. Maybe he wanted the word caution to be read right here. So once a Marine or another unit pops out of the structure, it immediately is warned that it's on an evil planet. Do you think the people that are trained inside of the barracks are already in there right now? Like, you can make an infinite amount of Marines out of one of those barracks. And with the Protoss, I know they're getting warped in from, like, a different location somewhere in space. Ooh. Second starport at a fusion core? I'll stop talking about whatever line of thought I was going on. Although it is an interesting discussion to have. There's a fusion core coming up as well as a second starport. Now, I've seen Maru play battlecruisers on this map as an opener before. But if I'm not mistaken, he's always done that off of a single... Huh. Yeah, we're not going to see a 420... we're not going to see a 420 third base. So this is a Viking into a Liberator. Liberator is probably going to force out a Sport Crawler or two. So that's kind of interesting. And then there's going to be a Battlecruiser, I think, as a follow-up. This is going to be a super late Battlecruiser, though. Normally it shows up much sooner. Usually the first one comes out at, like, what, 5:10? Something along those lines, and then I can teleport straight across the map. This one is going to be quite late. Dark is going for... Yeah, a lot of roaches. He's once again going for a roach push. This is going to be crazy. A battlecruiser obviously is very nice to have against a roach push. He's like, well, it worked well in the previous game. Let me do it again. I'm just not exactly sure. Like, these units take a super long time to produce. Thought for a second maybe it was going to be like double Liberator production. So if you walk around over here for some time as a Zerg player and you're going to go all the way around, which I guess he is doing. Oh, I don't think he actually is going to go for that much aggression. He's probably just going to try and see if he can deal some sort of damage. But he's droning hard behind this. Yeah, this battlecruiser is super... He's going double battlecruiser! There's 2 battlecruisers coming up in a professional game. Alright. I like it. Maru really seems to have found his flow. I know he's been playing, like, mech straight up as well. He's been, like, going battlecruisers again. He's obviously very good at playing just casual Marine, Marauder, Medivac, right? He's good at everything, man. The complete package. Anyways. There's battlecruiser number 1. He's saving up battlecruisers. So there's a couple Spore Crawlers coming up right now. But those are in positions that they're gonna be... This is gonna hit like a truck. They're in positions to counter Liberators. And then suddenly, 2 battlecruisers. Third one's coming up even as well. They're gonna go straight into the main base. Spore Crawler being repositioned. Queen's running away already. He's got only 5 queens. This is an opener without a Spire as well, so it should be able to deal quite a bit of damage. And obviously, these Zerg players at the top level are very good at their crisis management. 2 more Battlecruisers are coming up. Maru's going mass Battlecruiser. Hell yeah, dude. So there's the Spire. Spires look kind of similar to Spore Crawlers when they are building. If you can find the Spire, which is right over here, it's very hard to do anything. At the same time, though, on the other side of the map, okay, love this move here from Dark. He saw the units. He's like, okay, let me like step on the multitasking a little bit as well. Yeah, the one bunker over here, though. That being said, while Terran's killing a lot of stuff on the other side of the map, like for example the Natural, he's also losing quite a few workers at home. Yeah. 3rd CC is obviously super late with this sort of army too, and this is just about to get absolutely crazy. Battlecruiser 3 and 4 just about to pop out. Again, I just want to emphasize those units are 400 minerals, 300 gas. I mention this every single time we see a single Battlecruiser being built. Okay, you probably don't want to get them biled. That's a little sloppy. Yeah, they're super expensive. They're like a base and then some. Spire, by the way, was found, it seems. So, yeah, he was forced to cancel it and now make a new one. Spires take forever to produce. There's not a lot of Zerg units that can shoot up. Hydras don't do it. I mean, they shoot up technically, but only in the strict sense of the word. They're gonna absolutely suck against these sorts of units, so he needs the Spire. There's Queens coming up. I guess Spore Crawlers can, like, slow this down as well. That being said, there's a lot of Spores, yeah. There's still a lot of drones available too here for Dark. Okay, there's the other Battlecruisers going across, joining the first 2. I think, wait, what? Did one of the Battlecruisers die? I'm gonna, where, what, how, when? Don't tell me you're just gonna die to a bunch of Spores. Come on, dude, really? Are pro gamers human after all? Kinda sus. Anyways, once this roach is killed, yeah, these 2 are gonna go across the map. And apparently, it's only 3 Battlecruisers left over. I think it should be 4, but, Spire number 2 also found. And if that one, yeah, if there's no Spire, what are you gonna do? Just take damage? He is dealing a lot of damage on the other side as well, though. It's just that there's triple command center, and even without any workers here, Terran's still okay. Maybe not great, but you know what? The roaches are dealing so much damage, though. Battlecruisers don't really kill roaches that quickly, so they live for long enough to deal some damage. Maybe you should have just jumped 2 of the Battlecruisers across and just left 2 over there, right? And then, you know, leave the other ones at home for defense. If Dark can finish up the Spire and make like 8 Corruptors at once... No, actually 8 is not enough. If he can make like 12 at once, maybe he can hold on. I think 8 would be a good start, though. It's just that those units are very expensive. You can see he's already saving up. He wants to smash his piggy bank right when the Spire finishes, but it's already a little bit too much. GG. And SCV is moving across right away. As we found out a couple of days ago in a previous cast, this map has like 40% win rate for Terran against Zerg. Then again, Maru is not your average Terran player. He's not even your average pro gamer. I feel like every time I've casted Maru on this map, he won against Zerg. Maybe, maybe I'm mistaken. So we're gonna go for a proxy, huh? Like I said, it's not super common, but it's still common enough. This is a very good spot for it, though. You can, even when you're found... What, we're gonna go over there? Oh, I thought we were gonna build it right over here behind it. I was gonna say, you can reduce the service area quite a bit. Oh, we're gonna split up the barracks? No. Okay. Very risky. Very risky. Dark is sending the Overlord straight on over there, so he's gonna find it. Yeah, he's not gonna find it soon, though. Dark obviously not opting to go for the drone scout this time around. This is not something Maru knows about, by the way. I don't think Maru saw the drone scout in the previous game. Otherwise, he probably would have... Yeah, he probably wouldn't have gone for this particular start here in this one. Either way, hatch gas pool right here from the Zerg. So standard start. Obviously, 6 Zerglings are still nice to have, but at this point, Dark knows. He sees what's going on. He wants to know if it's more than just 2. But obviously you don't want to fly it that far forward, so you can't actually get the Overlord back to safety. Okay, a couple of drones over here have been pulled. They're gonna start working on SCVs that might want to, like, build bunkers over here. He'll probably pull a couple more in just a bit. Saving up the larva, saving up the resources, waiting for the hatch to finish, and then bam, making a bunch of those things all at once. I think you want to pull a couple more, don't you? Alright. We'll see the latest iteration in how to defend this sort of army. At this point, Dark doesn't know if it's a double Rex proxy or if it's a triple Rex proxy, which do take a slightly different approach, okay? Just target firing down the bunker straight up. One of the SCVs actually gets surrounded, okay? A drone for a drone. Not bad. Obviously, there's no Zerging speed or anything along those lines, right? Dark decided to pull out of gas straight up. But he does have 2 spine crawlers, and I guess he's gonna root those up straight away and move them forward. Together with a queen. Oh, he just cancels one as well. Apparently he's feeling that confident. I wonder if you should have, like, just let that one finish, my man. I guess he realizes at this point that it's a double Rex proxy, so he's like, ah, no, it's fine. Felt a bit greedy though, right? Canceling that one? Yeah, I don't know. It almost seems like a misclick, but it was so deliberate at the last second that I... Okay. I feel like this is not the perfect way of doing it. If the hatchery falls, that's pretty much game over. This is obviously match point here for Maru. Maru, by the way, already a factory at home, starport at home as well. He'll probably go for a second command center soon enough. He's just found a little angle where that Poke Boy can't poke. Poke Boys! Got it. Okay, no. It's a bit strange. There's the second CC. Going over the low ground command center as well. Keep in mind, Maru doesn't know that there's no link speed. He probably knows that it should have finished already if there was a Zerging speed. Anyways, I'm a little concerned. Yeah, what if everything just gets surrounded over here and then the links are gonna go for an adventure on the other side of the map? Aren't we in a lot of trouble at that point? Because then the command center can die, right? Like, if there's Zergling speed right now, the CC is dead, and with that, Maru. Go, 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 go. Guys, gotta run, though. You gotta run. No, no halting, bro. Go! Guess he's seen it right here with the Overlord. He knows the timing. He's seen the Hellion. He knows that it's not gonna happen. Alright. So, despite a little bit of early game drama, in the end, it doesn't even matter. Both players are gonna transition. I guess this is a slight Zerg advantage, though. Problem is that Terran's not gonna be able to have that much as a follow-up. Really? Really? This wasn't spotted. There's another fusion core coming up. Maru is gonna go Battlecruisers back to back. Ooh, that's a good title for a YouTube video. Whenever I'm casting any of these games, I'm always thinking, what am I gonna, you know, title it? Back-to-back Battlecruisers? That has a nice ring to it. I might title it that. I could put like little dashes as well between the back-to-back. That sounds cool. I don't know. Is that even grammatically correct? Anyways, can you make a Battlecruiser just so I can title my video? Thank you, Mr. Maru. Love you, man. I've been hyping you up for a long time. I think I'm creating, at least amongst the foreign audience, foreign for you that is, a lot of fans. Come on, bro. He's waiting for 300 gas. Come on, do me a favor, Mr. Maru. There it is. Back-to-back Battlecruisers. A little bit of alliteration is always nice. Alright, so Battlecruiser Hellion. What year is it? 2019? Like, probably 2019, actually, is when we saw these sort of openers the most. There was an Overlord Scout, obviously, in the main base. These are so late, though. Yeah, like, I feel like 2022 so far in StarCraft 2, the first couple of weeks can be defined as anti-timings. For the longest time, it was all about playing the best build perfectly and as efficient as possible. So, for example, Oracles should show up in the Zerg's mineral line at 4 minutes. If yours show up at 4:20, you suck. Fix it, right? Battlecruisers Should already be out at like 5 minutes and 10 seconds. But Maru is now like, he's like flowing through the different builds, if that makes any sense, you know? Like he spent a decade learning the basics, and now he's like starting to link the different things all together. He's like a yoga artist. He's flowing from one stance straight into the next, and it's kind of beautiful. Pose, I guess. There you go. Not stance, Lowko, you idiot. Anyways. I like it. Linking things together, creating a variety. Are we going into double armory? I like it, yes. I like it a lot. Double armory is the biggest indication that I've seen in a very long time that we're gonna see straight up mech. I brought it up earlier. Mech in general, very unpopular at the pro level for StarCraft 2. The reason being is that, well, you kind of just can't do much against the Zerg and you just let them do whatever they like for the better part of 12 minutes. So far, that hasn't obviously really happened. Maru has been in the driver's seat of this game the whole time. He's made a third command center. Now there's going to be Hellions moving on over towards the third. A weaker player would lose a whole lot of units over here, but apparently Dark is leaving a couple of queens in the main base to deal with the BC. Left a couple of units over here too, and that is some stellar defense. Ooh. How did that one die? Hold up, how did you guys see that? Did a queen shoot at it? I'm gonna look at this again. There was one Hellion that like died on the okay. Oh no, it was just one Zergling. Okay. I thought for a second the queens were heading on over in that direction, meaning that they wouldn't have fired with the way that they're facing at the Hellion. But I guess one Zergling just barely nipped that one Hellion in the wheel. In the wheel. Sure. Okay, so we're seeing full-on mech. Oh, yeah. Maybe I'm gonna have to title this video differently. Maybe I'll title it Back-to-Back Battlecruisers, but then I'll put, like, mech on the thumbnail. I'm not even gonna show a battlecruiser on the thumbnail. I heard a little bleep. Yeah. Battlecruiser number 1. Going back home. He's like, hey, guys. Can you do your magic spell and repair the battlecruiser from the ground? And they're like, yes. We'll wave our wizard sticks once. There you go. Words. Wizard stick. That's the official term. I see a lot of you haven't gone to Hogwarts. Anyways. Nidus Worm. Scando already revealed it. Maru with the god instinct over here realizes, wait a second, this is... something's not right. Why are you making so many freaking queens? There's 12 queens available at this point. Problem is, though, I don't know if that Zerg has actually picked up on the fact that it's mech. I think Maru is A-okay with a couple of units walking slowly off creep into the, you know, siege tanks. I think he's totally fine with that. I don't think he cares. Obviously, he needs to make sure that he doesn't get caught off guard over here inside of the corner of the main. 11 swarm hosts are coming up. When's the last time we've seen swarm hosts? I feel like I haven't seen a swarm host game in forever. That's why the Nidus Worm was built, huh? It's to not go for a queen push, but it's to go for a swarm host deployment. Swarm hosts obviously are nice and free. Well, they're not free, but you can... What? Why are we still putting a dozen queens in there? Okay. A queen swarm host push? I mean, it kind of makes sense. So where are these gonna go? Into the main? Yeah, I guess they're gonna go into the main base. Maru probably gonna lose like 1 unit, though. 1 Hellbat. 2 SCVs. Nah, he's losing a little bit more. Swarm hosts are probably one of the worst units in the game, but I don't suggest you buff them, because free units in general are kind of dumb. So they're on a timer, right? So the way that it works is that they have an ability called Spawn Locust, and then it spawns... What are we doing? You can spawn Locust when the cooldown is up. Historically speaking, in case you've only been watching StarCraft 2 for a couple of years, swarm hosts, ever since they were first introduced, have been an absolute disaster. If you try to make them balanced, Zerg players will only ever make swarm hosts. And since they pop into Nidus Worms like this, it's extremely difficult to actually get rid of them. Now, this is weird. This is very strange. Locust versus battlecruisers. Anyways, What I'm trying to get at is that, like, there was a meta in StarCraft 2 where Zerg units basically were just units that could spawn other units for free. So we would see a lot of Swarm Host, we would see a lot of Brute Lords, we would see a lot of units that spawn other units. And I think the way that Brute Lords do it is fine, but I think the way that Swarm Hosts do it is, it's fun to see as like a niche unit, right? It's kind of fun when we see them every once in a while, like in this game. But if it was the default in most of the matchups, it would be a little bit lame. Anyways, very cool stuff so far. I love, by the way, what the Queens have done over here as well. Oh my god, he killed the Nidus Worm and then he's teleporting the Battlecruisers on top of the Swarm Hosts. Hell yeah, let's go, dude. Anyways, the Queens have put down a lot of creep tumors over here. These are gonna go into the main base. Not really getting that much work done, though. Hellbat's already ready to intercept them. Apparently, Swarm Host off creep are faster than Battlecruisers. Didn't know that. Today I learned. Nidus Worm over here underneath the command center as well to prevent it from landing. Creep in the top left-hand corner also denying some of it. We are now on 4 Battlecruisers. There's more coming up. Nidus Worm in the top left-hand corner over here as well. This is the strangest 3-base Terran contain that I've ever seen. But so far, it seems to be kind of working here for Dark. Dark's going Infestors with Neural Parasite, by the way. Neural Parasite allows the Zerg to temporarily mind control these Terran units with the Infestors, which is pretty good. Believe it or not, yeah, it's pretty good, dude. Oh, man. I already mentioned you could wake me up at any time of the day, right? To cast these games. Okay, most useless Locust I've seen in a while. Then again, I haven't seen a lot of Locusts recently, so maybe they can be even more useless! They need to get out, they need to get out! Okay, very close. Neuroparasite is not done yet. Fungal Growth, which is one of the skills that the Infestor has, does limit unit movement abilities. Meaning that if there's, for example, a bunch of Stalkers and you fungal those, they can't blink. Same goes for the Battlecruiser. If there's a bunch of Battlecruisers and you decide to, like, you know, teleport them back home, but there's a fungal on them, you can't. Anyways, Zergling's in the top left-hand corner getting a lot of work done. Man, these guys are everywhere. Smart Servos even coming up right now for Maru. It's the ability that allows the Hellbats, as well as Thors, to switch between their 2 modes a little bit quicker. So Hellion to Hellbat and Hellbat to Hellion. Raven over here as well. Okay, I kind of like it. There's a Spire coming up, and there's 2 Thors on the production tab. Okay. These guys are playing 4D chess. I've been out here in my own games. Pretty happy with the rank I managed to get. I'm sitting at like rank 65 Grandmaster right now on the NA server, feeling pretty good about myself. But it turns out, all this time, I've been playing checkers. It's not even the same game that I'm playing. I mean, the units may have similar names, but these guys are on an entirely different level. So +3/+3 is finishing up pretty soon, though. I really... Yeah, it's a little awkward. Is it stuck? I don't know. Step Thor, are you... Okay. No, sorry. I don't think the Step Thor is stuck. Might lift the factory, though. Anyways. The thing with Terran mech is that it's very gas heavy, so Terran doesn't really care all too much about giving up minerals. So Hellions are essentially units that Maru could have also built orbital commands with. Because that's also the only mineral cost here. There's the double Spire, by the way. We've seen a lot of Nidus Worms here. Very cool. The Thor has been freed. Very nice. Thors are actually pretty good with their Javelin missiles against Locust. If you have enough of them, that is. Obviously, if you only have a few, it's not that good. They can be lifted up into Medivacs as well. Okay, you know what? Careful with the Siege Tanks, though. Siege Tank's almost killing everything the Terran player has. At the same time, though, he was microing in the bottom right-hand corner, trying to kill the base over here, and I think it's probably gonna live. Yeah, it will live. For now. There's probably gonna be more units where that came from. This is just one of those, I'm gonna buy some time and hope the Zerg player doesn't attack me anytime soon type of armies. This is a bit of a strange Zerg army though, because like, look at this, right? This is the problem with swarm hosts. Look at the army supply. He's essentially maxed out, but it's really not very impressive at all. Like, the swarm hosts are extremely supply heavy, and obviously since they can only like, this is so weird. Battlecruisers countering, yeah, swarm hosts, as if they need another unit to be countered by. Anyways, the swarm hosts are soaking up so much supply that at some point you kind of want to get rid of them. Dark Doge is building as big a bank as possible. There's the Ultralisk Cavern coming up. There's the double Spire upgrades. He's just getting whatever he likes. Yeah, I think he's trying to leverage the swarm host into getting a huge bank and then just switching to whatever unit he deems to be the best at that point. Whereas Maru is going for more of a death ball, going into mech first and then mixing in ghosts. Can I be smug for just a little bit? Because I feel like 3 years ago or so, when people were actually like playing mech regularly, the Terran players in the comment section would always tell me, oh no, you can't mix in ghosts. It's literally impossible, Lowko. They're too expensive. They're too hard to micro, blah, blah, blah. And I was saying all the time that like the one weakness that mech struggles with is spellcasters, right? So like you need something to counter the infestors. You need something to counter the vipers. Well, look at this, guys. Ha! Got him at last. It only took me like 3 years, 4 years to be smug. But now Mr. Maru is proving me right. I feel so clever right now. Thank you, Maru. Thanks again, bro. We're close. We're tight, me and Maru. He probably doesn't know who I am, but we are tight. Here go the Battlecruisers once again. Battlecruisers to counter Locust is one of the strangest dynamics. So far, these swarm hosts have been very pointless, by the way. Most of the time when we see swarm hosts, we see like command center after command center being destroyed. But somehow, some way, even with only +1, that hasn't really happened yet. Alright. +3/+3. Adrenal glands for the Zerg player. Yeah, so Dark can essentially make any army he likes. He can taste the air and be like, today seems like a day for Ultralisks, which it really isn't at this point, by the way. But if he feels like making Ultras, he can. If he feels like making 20 Brute Lords, he can. He can switch within about a minute to whatever army composition he likes, which is the real strength of the Swarm here. It's just that those units are obviously not cheap. Those Swarm Hosts are so pointless. The defense here against the Swarm Host has been superb. 2 side-by-side sensor towers. Centering each other. Very beautiful. And this is where Maru is pretending he's a Zerg, I guess, by building a ton of static defense. There's the building armor coming up. There's 4 additional command centers as well. Battlecruisers jumping on over in this direction. Maru doesn't care about losing a command center. Look at this. He's gonna probably like, bloop, bloop. Yeah, it's doing nothing. That was an awful lot of banelings for a whole lot of nothing. I mean, killing a command center is nice and all, but... Ooh, that's a nice wave, though. Okay, 2 siege tanks going down. A ghost, they're also getting picked off. And keep in mind, every time those locusts fly, they're essentially free. Although you gotta be careful, you don't accidentally get destroyed. This the Terran army is just stronger than you, and then you're stuck on a bunch of swarm hosts that can't actually fight. Anyway. I guess both players are just making whatever they like. Yeah, look, there we go. We have even the high-sec auto-tracking upgrade coming up, the Neo Steel armor. Good stuff. These guys are going shopping at the mall. And they were given $1 million credit card. For Yamato cannons against the Greater Spire. Actually surprisingly effective. These do have their tactical jumps available again, so they can go wherever they like. Infestors hoping that they're gonna move on over towards the right side of the screen, but... yeah, they're just gonna patrol back and forth for a little while. When you see Maru play, this map really doesn't feel bad for Terran at all, right? Am I crazy? So it's got like 40% win rate for Terran against Zerg at the pro level. Maru's playing this map differently though. Maybe it's a mech map. There's the Ghost cloaking upgrade coming up too. There's additional command centers. Okay, a couple of Zerglings here, getting some work done. Picking up a few siege tanks, okay. Getting some SCVs. Big army over here though in the bottom right-hand corner as well. Maru's finally starting to really bring the big guns into the battle. Ultralisks and 2 roaches. I don't think that's it, Dark. I'll be honest with you, mate. I don't think that's it. I don't know what it is, though. Because, like, he's still got those 14 swarm hosts. Another Spire was killed. He still has those 14 swarm hosts. And they're just soaking up so much supply. The Thor functioning as the Marine group that we saw in one of the previous games. The one on Blackburn. Okay, these Locust waves are starting to look much nicer though. It's just that the Zerg's army is looking so pathetically small. It's really not that much. Then again, I guess Terran can't really go too deep onto the creep either. Oh, is that what the Ultras are for? Just here for counterattacks? They even suck at that, man. The Zerglings here are much better, killing once again a couple of siege tanks. 17 drones have been killed by this Terran hit squad in the bottom right-hand corner. Couple of Blue Flame Hellions sleeping on the job. Ghost over here, okay, never say die. Wouldn't mind seeing a couple of nukes flying across the map right about right now as well, but maybe that's just me getting greedy. Probably. Hit squad of unsiege tanks with a Hellbat. Killing a base over on the left side. There's the... Oh god, okay. Thought I was getting greedy, but... Maybe it was already on the production tab when I started that sentence. There's so much to look at in this game. These guys are so ridiculous. It's actually insane. Like, it almost makes me feel... It almost makes it feel pointless to actually play a ladder myself. Because I know I'm not going to be able to reach this level. It's just not going to happen. I only have 2 hands. Maybe one day. If we can sign up for a 3rd arm or something like that. Now, that's what we usually see with swarm hosts. Yeah. Planetaries falling left, right, and center. At this point, though, I feel like it's a little too late. Maru's just gonna constantly replace these and put in new ones. Like, he's almost got, like, backup bases right next to the ones that he's losing. That's probably how he's actually determining where to position his units as well. Anyways. Dark doesn't actually have that big of a bank here at all. Okay, he wants to move forward. Okay, tactical jump already being used. Battlecruisers moving on over towards the right side of the map to join the other half of the Terran army. That does mean that the siege tanks over here on the left side of the map will fall. So that's something. Okay, Neural Parasite right there on one of the ghosts to use EMP on the other ghosts. I guess that's the idea, to try and keep the Ultras alive for a little while longer, but there's the Battlecruisers though. Battlecruisers right now have temporarily switched sides. But at this point, Maru has already trashed that Zerg army for long enough. Dark still has some money in the bank, but he knows he's not going to be able to dream up an army that can actually beat Maru. And obviously Maru has now taken more than just his side of the map. He's starting to creep into the terrain of the Zerg player as well. Fantastic series. Hope you enjoyed it. Hey, if you made it all the way until the very end, please take the 1 second that it takes to hit that like button. That way this video might very well get picked up by the YouTube algorithm. Hey, thanks.